Welcome to Smoke Signals, everyone. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach and athletic director Wayne Coleman. Jacksonville had the bye week this past week and getting ready for Hallsville. District play starts at Tomato Bowl. Coach, let's kind of run through the non-district games. 3 games that were different. I mean, just if you looked at each one, I could never get a really pattern of this football team yet. And kind of a good thing if you're scouting Jacksonville, but talking about the Henderson game, a much better defensive effort than the previous 2 games.
Oh, no doubt. And we felt going into the game like this was the kind of football our defense would feel comfortable in playing. A spread team like Henderson with good athletes that we could get out on the field and match up with, and our defense played really well.
Yeah, this is a Henderson team that scored 48 points and against Hallsville, team that you're playing Friday night. You just seem to have some things working defensively. What worked against Henderson that, of course, we won't talk about Palestine, that was a wing tee, that we'll go back to Cleburne that maybe you kind of fixed a little bit on defense?
I think, when you compare game 1, Crandall, and game 3, Henderson, our defense got put in really bad field position in the Crandall game, and there were a lot of times where they went out there on their own 20-yard line because of special teams miscues. And so given the opportunity to play, on a fair field, the defense fared really well.
Another strange statistical night. You had more total yards than Henderson. You had the ball longer than Henderson. You had more first downs than Henderson. It just didn't result in a scoreboard.
Yeah, we had more turnovers than Henderson. So, and that's, everybody knows how important the turnover statistic is. So we lost that battle. That's probably the only stat we lost. And red zone efficiency, not getting the ball in the end zone when we got down there.
Unfortunately, Isaiah Mallard went down early in the ball game, and as we'll see some of the highlights, JT Johnson stepped in and did a nice job. And I know that's what you want to see in these non-district games as you head into district play, is to find out those guys that can step in.
Yeah, JT had a good night, and in the Crandall game, Tony Pinson came in for a series at quarterback and did a great job. So we found some stuff out about some kids in non-district that we needed to find out.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Jacksonville versus Henderson. There's a nice toss by Ryan to Jermaine. Look at the broken tackles there.
Jermaine's a strong receiver, and he does a lot with the ball when we get it to him on the short passes.
And here's 3 plays in a row with JT Johnson. This first one right here is just tip, catch, good concentration.
JT's pass catching ability has really come a long ways in the last month. He's done a good job there.
This is just a really physical run by JT right here.
He's not a easy kid to bring down. He's about 200 pounds, so he's a load.
Nice little hot route here to JT, takes it for 36.
And we did a good job, at times during the game of controlling the blitz with the hot route. Other times it got away from us.
And this is the congratulations play of the game, a 42-yarder to Tony Pinson. I still do not know how he caught this football.
Tony, just in the last, 5 or 6 games, going back to last year, has made 2 of our best catches.
And here's a tough run again by Jermaine Taylor for the score. Breaking multiple tackles to get in. So, coaches, you see the statistics right there. I mean, you look at total yardage, time of possession, and again, but as you mentioned, 3 turnovers, something you didn't do in the first 2 ball games. And of course, that's easy to point out to your players and say, look, there's the difference right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a formula or a drill or something that was, take care of all the situations that turnovers can happen in, I mean, it's everybody would be doing that. And, you preach high and tight ball security. You preach catch the ball, tuck it, get north and south, and the kids do a good job of that for the most part. And there's just going to be nights where things happen. The one fumble by JT, he may or may not have been down. A lot of people think he was down. But, I mean, it's a kid trying to get extra yards and fight for tough extra yards, and that happens sometimes.
So the non-district schedule didn't go from a winning standpoint where you wanted it to go, obviously, but what did you learn about your football team coming into the season thinking, hey, this is our identity offensive and defensively? Did that change any after these first 3 ball games? Did you see anything different about your team that you didn't know before?
We went into it saying that we wanted to run the ball better, and we have run the ball better. We still would like to run it even better because it does so much more for your play action pass game. Defensively, we got better against the spread teams than we were last year. Played maybe one of our best defensive games actually against Henderson, and had a chance, to take a game there that was there for us to get, and we just didn't make the plays at the right time. And in the game of football, I mean, it's hard enough for pro teams to go on 10 and 12 play drives and score touchdowns. I mean, you watch it on the weekends, and the Chiefs thought they were just going to march down the field and kick the game-winning field goal, and they fumble the ball. And it's not a gimme. So we need to find a little more explosive type plays, get some 50-yard touchdowns, not count on 10 and 12 play drives. So that'll go a long ways in helping us get better.
So it's Hallsville, opening district play at Tomato Bowl at home. Hallsville's a football team, a little bit of an enigma because coming into the season they changed coaches, added somebody I think internally in the middle of the summer. And so this is a team that's better than what they were in the past, and you would think maybe with a new coach, but no, they've adjusted quite well, and they have some weapons offensively.
They did a smart thing. They stayed. They went from a spread system and stayed in a spread system, even with the coaching change. And the kids that they've got are executing really well. I think number 5 has started at slot receiver.
8 years.
Seems like forever.
He's been there a while.
Maybe it's a different number 5, but this kid is a playmaker. The quarterback is super athletic. We had trouble with him last year when he was on the JV. Really athletic kid, makes plays with his feet. So they've got kids that can make plays, and they're a lot cleaner. You know, that old adage, you get better from game 1 to game 2. They lost to Henderson on a botched extra point. I mean, literally were lining up to kick an extra point with a minute left to tie the game, and they botched the extra point. And so they had a lot of special teams miscues in that game. They were kind of like us from that standpoint, and they've cleaned a lot of that up. So they're getting better every game. It's really going to be the game of which team doesn't beat themselves, and we haven't been good at that yet. And even as well as our defense played against Henderson, offensively, we turned the ball over 3 times, and you can't do that and expect to win.
You know, the bye week is when it comes every year at this time, and you're getting ready for district, and you kind of take a deep breath, evaluate, look at things, and kids get a chance to work on their grades and stuff. So talk about what you guys did in the bye week and what maybe the routine and how that might have changed getting ready for district.
Yeah, well, 2 of the big things were try to get healthy and take care of your academics. We had time where we could get kids to extra tutorials, and we had time for some kids to heal their bodies. You know, we lost Mallard in the game. We had some other kids banged up that have missed a few practices, just been kind of out there watching. And then, you know, there's always the COVID issues this day and age where you've got to work around those. And the week off was really good for us.
Yeah. Offensively, how will you attack Hallsville?
We've got to just keep doing what we do. We try to get Mallard back out there healthy. And now we feel a lot more comfortable rotating JT into the mix as a power runner. So we kind of got a little 1-2 punch there, and try to find ways to create explosive plays to for our kids. You know, get them in one-on-one situations they can win.
In your 3 non-district ball games, the defensive lines were really strong. How does Hallsville's defensive front compare to Crandall, Palestine, Henderson?
Yeah, they are. They're a little bigger than us, but they're not that much bigger than us. They've got some kids that come off the ball really well. 57 really comes off the ball. They're good-looking kids on the defensive line. They've had some injuries at the linebacker position, so there may be something there that we can try to exploit and attack the linebackers. But they're not nobody's got a 99 that Henderson has. I mean, that kid's a great player.
Strong.
And he created a lot of problems for us. So they're not going to have one super standout defensive lineman, but they play well as a unit.
Last year's team, and maybe even the previous year's team, you guys had a lot more downfield action. This team seems to be more of a second level, and kind of the RPO, kind of get it up the field. How is that working out for you? Because in the past, like I said, you had these deep threats that you were trying, not that you don't have them now, but you've elected to go a little bit more underneath with the check downs.
Yeah, it's a lot of the check downs is blitz control stuff. So if you see if you're in the stands and you're thinking, why do they keep throwing that ball out there so quick in the flat or wherever? A lot of the times that's just purely because the other team's blitzing and we want to get the ball out and not take a sack. And we're not taking very many sacks, but it does limit the number of shots you can take down the field. So we've got to be creative and find ways to get more shots down the field and keep the protection for the quarterback.
Coach, defensively, clearly an improvement in the Henderson game defensively, especially in the secondary. I mean, you were coming into that ball game with a really good quarterback. Now you're facing a mobile quarterback that Hallsville has. How will that change your scheme? I mean, do you defense Hallsville kind of like you did Henderson?
Believe it or not, the Henderson quarterback is more of a run threat. He has shown on video that he will pull the ball down and take off with it, and he loves to run the football. A lot of it is not designed run, a lot of it is scramble, but when he scrambles, a lot of times he just wants to pull it down and run, and so we've got to do a good job of containing him. So it's been a little bit of a blessing to have the extra week of prep time so we can get our kids used to his scrambling ability.
Mood of the team, how are they feeling?
They feel like the season's starting all over. We go out there Monday for our first warm-up, and they're locked in, and it's really a breath of fresh air to see how invigorated they are and ready to roll.
Of course, I know you've talked to them about everybody's 0-0 right now. You just alluded to that. Talk about the keys to the game for Jacksonville to beat Hallsville Friday night.
Don't beat yourself. Make the other team make plays. Everybody's going to make plays. It's football in 2021. There's going to be, you can turn the highlight reels on of every game. There's going to be incredible plays made. Both teams are going to make incredible plays. Which team is not going to beat themselves? You see that when you turn on the highlight reels too. The Memphis kid pick up the downed punt and return it 90 yards. I mean, what a botched play by the other team. So it happens on all levels. You've got to minimize your mistakes. If we don't turn the ball over 3 times the other night, we beat Henderson. You don't have to make incredible plays. Just make the simple plays and don't beat yourself.
Jacksonville versus Henderson, the district opener at Tomato Bowl. Kickoff at 7:30. Will be online at 6:45 on JHS-sports.com or Twitch or our YouTube channel. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.